from your home of the 2016 Rio Summer Olympics. This is KHQ Local News at 5 right now.
Coming up tonight at 5, would you pay $5 to ensure that your son or daughter's drinking water is not filled with lead? Our state lawmakers apparently would not. We'll explain. Plus,
maybe I better just try the door. Fortunately, it was unlocked.
She's Spokane's Iron Nun, but tonight she's something much more. She's one man's angel after saving his life during a house fire.
And red alert. Do you know who this man is? Deputies in Bonner County say he and another man opened fire on one of their own this morning, and tonight there's a frantic manhunt to bring them in. But first,
breaking now on KHQ.
Breaking now, the nationwide search for this 9-year-old girl abducted from her school in Tennessee has shifted into the Northwest.
Claire Graham is tracking this story at the Breaking Now desk, and we understand there's been a possible sighting, Claire.
Dan, Stephanie, that's right. Idaho State Police say several people have reported seeing the van used in 9-year-old Carly Trent's abduction since it happened on Wednesday of last week. There have also been similar reports in 11 other states, but today Idaho State Police say there's been a surge in sightings in the Idaho Falls and Mountain Home area, with several tips saying the van that they're driving in was on I-84 and Highway 15. Now, police say Carly Trent's uncle, Gary Simpson, took her from her school in this white 2002 Dodge conversion van with a dark stripe down the middle and gold running boards. The van has a Tennessee license plate 173 GPS. Now here's a look at their pictures again right next to me. The girl is about 4'8", wearing a black and gray tank top with blue jeans. Her uncle is about 5'10", wearing a dark shirt, jeans, and a brown hat. If you see them or their van, please call 911. At the Breaking Now desk, I'm Claire Graham. Stephanie, it's back to you.
All right, Claire, thank you for that. A crime tracker alert out of North Idaho now, where deputies and detectives from several states are trying to find two people they believe started shooting at them during a chase. It started just after 11 last night when deputies in Bonner County tried to pull over a truck near Highway 41 in Tweedy, but the driver sped off across the state line, ending a chase near Elmer's Loop, just south of Newport. KHQ local news reporter Liz Birch joins us live from the area. And Liz, what's the latest on this search?
Well, I just talked to the Bonner County Sheriff's Office. They tell me they're following up on leads, but right now both suspects do remain at large. It's for that reason they're telling everyone in the area to remain hyper vigilant. They say make sure both your house doors and your car doors are locked because the suspects could be looking for shelter or a getaway car. The Bonner County Sheriff's Office tells me 27-year-old Patrick Goodrow had a warrant out for attempted strangulation and battery. He's also a person of interest in a suspicious fire. Some of his prior arrests in the last couple of years include malicious injury and grand theft. The Bonner County Sheriff's Office tells me they initially tried to pull over the car he was in for speeding. If you see either of the suspects, do give 911 a call immediately. Do not approach them. Again, they are considered to be armed and dangerous. Live in Old Town, Idaho, Liz Birch, KHQ Local News.
Liz, thank you. Right now, people across the Midwest are picking up the pieces after a system of deadly tornadoes ripped through that region.
Never in my life. I don't want to do it ever again. It was horrifying.
Well, tonight survivors are beginning the difficult recovery after at least 19 tornadoes scattered their homes and lives for miles. Unfortunately, storm season is reaching its peak right now, meaning more tornadoes are likely in store in the near future. Well, one of the country's top traffic safety organizations is issuing an urgent warning about a growing danger on our roads: people driving while high on drugs. AAA says in some states that have legalized marijuana, deadly crashes involving drivers who have consumed pot are surging. KHQ local news reporter Joe McKell joins us now. Joe, we understand that Washington State is on the front lines of this problem.
Yeah, Dan, numbers don't lie, but they're definitely shocking. According to this AAA study, the number of deadly crashes in Washington State since pot was legalized in 2012 have doubled when it comes to there being a driver involved who is high.
You are impaired. You are impaired. I have seen impairment. I have seen what impairment does.
It's been 2.5 years since Mary Gatson waved goodbye to her 23-year-old son, Blake, at a suburban Seattle restaurant. Seconds later, at this intersection, he was hit by a car. The 33-year-old driver, now in prison, later admitted he was high on pot. Stories like hers are becoming frighteningly more common. According to this new report on prevalence of marijuana involvement in fatal crashes, 1 in 6 Washington drivers involved in deadly crashes tested positive for marijuana in 2014. The fear is this is a sign of future problems in around 20 other states considering marijuana legalization this year. And for mothers like Gatson, if it leads to just one death, it's too many.
Even in 23 years, he lived a hell of a life. A life that was way, way, way too short. But he lived a hell of a life.
So what about trying to put a stop to this problem? Washington and 5 other states use similar legal tests to determine if a driver is high, but researchers say there's no science behind them, so they may not be accurate. I'll have that story tonight at 6. In the newsroom, Joe McHale, KHQ Local News.
All right, Joe, thank you. Opening statements are set to begin first thing tomorrow in the criminal trial for Spokane Police Sergeant and former Police Guild President John Gately. Gately is accused of helping to cover up for a fellow officer facing a rape charge. KHQ Local News reporter Haley Gunther has the background on the case against him.
Surrounded by fellow Spokane police officers as well as members of his family, Sergeant John Gately listened here in the Spokane Superior Courthouse as his jury was finalized. October 25th, 2015, it all started with drinks in a hot tub at a Spokane police officer's Spokane County home. The victim, a rookie Spokane police officer, passed out. She told detectives she woke up to this man, Spokane police officer Gordon Ennis, with his hands down her pants. County detectives say when they tried to get DNA from Ennis's fingernails, he'd already cut them short. Sheriff Ozzie Knezovich thinks someone tipped him off that deputies were headed his way. That someone, according to prosecutors, is this man, former Police Guild President Sergeant John Gately. Fast forward to today, Gately is now before a Spokane jury. His trial just underway for obstructing law enforcement. The 2 more serious charges against him dropped in early April. And those opening statements set to begin at 9 a.m. tomorrow. That's the latest here from the courthouse. Haley Gunther, KHQ Local News.
Well, back in October, Gordon Ennis pleaded not guilty to the rape charge. His trial was set to start in late February, but has since been moved to October. New information on 1 of 3 cases of Spokane police shooting someone in the last couple of weeks. Detectives just told us there are the 4 officers right there who shot a man threatening himself and others with a machete. It happened near Zola's Bar, and you can read more about this on KHQ.com. Investigators are still deciding whether to file charges.
Oh, now to a story trending on our Facebook page tonight. A Colorado inmate claims he's Prince's son. He wants a DNA test to prove it. If he's right, he would inherit Prince's estate under Minnesota law. The man is at a maximum security prison in the middle of a 7-year sentence for illegal firearms. We have new information on this house fire in west central Spokane. The homeowner was alerted by her neighbor. Turns out that neighbor is none other than Spokane's own Iron Nun. Sister Madonna Buter is known as the Iron Nun because she competes in triathlons. KHQ local news reporter Katie Chen spoke with her, and she says Sister Madonna, she's no hero.
The aftermath of a fire is never pretty.
And to come around and look at this, how horrible it was.
Sister Madonna Buter is now looking at how close this fire came to her home and how much it damaged. She says she thinks there was a little bit of divine intervention.
Little whisper, I call it God's whispers, when you get an intuition. Something said, you know, it's light out there, pull the curtains. And when I pulled those curtains, oh my gosh, I saw white smoke billowing behind here.
She called 911 and then ran into the home.
And the room was beginning to get filled with smoke, and the kitchen curtain looked like it was ready to catch on fire.
When she didn't see anyone?
So I just yelled as loud as I could, get out, your house is on fire.
She doesn't think she did anything special.
Oh, no way, I didn't do anything heroic. I just noticed, that's all.
She says the real heroes.
So grateful for the promptness and the attitude of 911 and the fire department.
In Spokane, Katie Chen, KHQ Local News.
Well, firefighters say that a cigarette caused the fire. One of the challenges of fighting this fire was how close those homes were together.
New information on a Washington State University graduate turned Texas police officer. Tonight, Officer Matt Pierce, shot 7 times during a traffic stop 2 months ago, is back at home, and he has a message for everyone.
Just thank y'all. You know, like I said, just anytime you think you can't do it, just keep fighting. You know, I did it, so anybody can do it. If I can do it, that's for sure. So just keep up the fight, no matter how bad you think it is. And thank y'all very much for supporting me as much as you did, because one day I'm going to turn around and I'll give back too.
Well, just last week we told you WSU's football coach Mike Leach sent Officer Pierce this Cougar Care package. Officer Pierce will rest at home before continuing with his rehabilitation. It's 3 days away, our spring shred day this Friday, May 13th. Make sure you have things like pay stubs, bank statements, credit card bills, much more. You can bring up to 3 boxes to one of 3 locations from 6 a.m. until 6:30 p.m. We have posted the addresses for those locations. Plenty of other shred day information on khq.com.
Again, that's this Friday. All right, still ahead tonight here at 5 o'clock. Some call it the party drug, but it could be the next revolutionary treatment for depression. How some doctors say it's already helping save lives. That's in 10 minutes.
And weather-wise, a few pop-up showers out there this afternoon as we were expecting. Those are going to continue to die down, though, here for over the next couple of hours. And just after sunset, those should be done for. And really the rest of the week looking very nice. That forecast coming up.
Is $5 per student worth it to know if their drinking water is safe? In 2009, the money to test for lead in schools never materialized. Now lawmakers are saying it's a priority.
Well, would you pay $5 to make sure that your child has safe drinking water at school?
Well, that's what it would have cost per student to test every public school district in the state for lead in drinking water back in 2009, but state legislators could not agree, so that money was cut from the budget.
Well, now with lead a major topic of concern, legislators are once again calling it a priority. KHQ local news reporter Caitlin Reardon cornered a top lawmaker to see whether there's going to be real change. Caitlin?
Well, right now, no state requires lead testing in schools, but Michigan is getting close. And after the lead levels found in some of Tacoma's schools' waters, Washington lawmakers are paying a lot more attention to the issue.
I think it's critically important.
In 2009, lead testing in schools was a discussion in the legislature. There was a work group that looked at the health issues within schools, among those lead testing. But in the end, the money wasn't set aside.
That has been frustrating for the House Democrats, that it hasn't necessarily been a priority elsewhere in the legislature. We've come up with several funding proposals over the course of the last several years.
It's actually really frustrating. I didn't know that it was even brought up that long ago.
For many parents, this is an issue that shouldn't be on the back burner.
It just seems like a standard thing to do.
Governor Jay Inslee recently announced that he would make lead testing a higher priority. Washington State Senator Andy Hill says he can't promise money in the Republican budget until estimated costs are updated, but says that the safety of children is a top priority. Ormsby, chairman of the Appropriations Committee, says the money will be in the House Democrats' budget proposal.
This is something that we could be well on our way to resolving had we stepped up and taken care of school facilities as we had intended in the last few years.
For nothing to come of it, it's pretty disappointing.
And Representative Ormsby says he believes that since it's come to the attention of lawmakers, it would be irresponsible not to address it properly. The next legislative session begins in January. Reporting in Spokane, Caitlin Reardon, KHQ Local News.
All right, thank you, Caitlin. This was the latest in our series of reports on lead in our water after the city of Spokane told us our levels are safe. To watch our past coverage, just go online to khq.com.
Well, how's this for a daunting dig? Crews in Norway are working to clear snow from popular sightseeing roads like this one. That's crazy.
You thought Division Street was tough to get down, huh? You can see that machine cutting through a wall of snow as high as most cars, shooting it off the road. Looks like they have a lot of work left.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just stay home until summer.
Is it ever summer in Norway?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that's true. Blake's back in the weather center right now. Looks like we're in for another warm week.
Really nice stretch of weather, coming our way, guys. We are still dealing with a few of those hit before a chance for maybe a few more thunderstorms into next week.
Now we're talking.
There
All right. Thanks, Blake. Coming up next, the hallucinogenic club drug that may become a potent treatment for severe depression. We'll talk about that next.
Welcome back. New tonight, this could be a huge breakthrough in psychiatric medicine.
Well, listen to this. A powerful horse tranquilizer that's become a party drug may be able to help severely depressed people who are thinking of killing themselves.
Yeah, researchers at Massachusetts General Hospital gave patients who had been having suicidal thoughts low doses of ketamine. It's an anesthetic, but users also report a high and a dreamlike state.
It's been sold on the streets illegally and sometimes goes by the name Special K, but in the study, most of the patients had a decrease in suicidal thoughts and some stopped thinking of suicide altogether.
Again, though, this is just the early stages of the research, and larger studies are ongoing. But for more in-depth coverage of this study, including whether the drug is safe, stay with us for NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. That's at 5:30, right when our newscast ends.
All right, time for us to take a quick break. We're back after this.
Live from the Fastener Sports Studio, powered by Fastenal, SWX on KHQ starts right now.
For the first time in NBA history, we have a unanimous league MVP. That tops tonight's sports headlines. Golden State Warriors guard Stephen Curry today repeating as most valuable player in the NBA, earning all 131 first-place votes. The award announcement coming one day after a 40-point performance in last night's Game 4 of the Western semifinals that included an NBA record 17 points in overtime. The Warriors now lead the Blazers 3-1 in their playoff series. The Thunder and the Spurs just underway in the NBA's other Western Conference series. The Whitworth softball team hard at work preparing for its first NCAA tournament since 2006. The Pirates made the field for this weekend's Division III regionals and will host Linfield on Friday. More from Whitworth tonight at 6. And the Spokane Empire face their biggest test yet this season when they visit the defending IFL champions in Sioux Falls on Saturday. We will catch up with the team on their upcoming matchup coming up in 60 minutes. We'll see you then.
Welcome back. A story trending tonight. How much would you pay for a good night's sleep? Well, a recent survey found half of new parents would pay at least $100 for a full 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep.
Yeah, I believe that. Nearly 1 in 10 said they'd pay $1,000, but get this, a separate study found that a third of us would pay at least $100 for just 1 extra hour's sleep.
I know for me, I get less and less sleep the older I get. And I tell you what, sometimes I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I feel like I have a newborn and I don't.
Blake, would you take a check, please, for an extra hour? Huh?
Yeah, I would pay for an hour of extra sleep, especially on the weekends. I seem to get more sleep during the week than I do on the weekends. It's a weird phenomenon. Weather-wise, here as we go through the next couple of days, looking really good. Partly sunny skies tomorrow. Some clouds move in the afternoon, but temperatures still in the low 70s. And then Thursday and Friday look nearly perfect, mid to upper 70s with sunshine and staying mostly sunny through the weekend before a chance for some storms next week, guys.
It's that cheese diet you're on, Blake. You need to cut down on that cheese.
He's got a high metabolism.
Lester Holt is next.
See you at 6.